This Juneteenth holiday is a celebration of freedom, marking the end at long last of slavery in America. Our Delmarva Peninsula played a big role in that story as home of two of freedom's greatest champions, Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass.
Countless other heroes from Delmarva participated in that fight too, even if they never became a big deal in the history books. But guess what? Jim Duffy of Secrets of the Eastern Shore joins us this Juneteenth edition of Throwback Thursday with the story of one of those lesser known stories, a brave young man named Matthew Roberts. Tell us about Matthew Roberts. This is in Talbot County?
Yeah, story starts in Talbot County. You familiar with Miles River Neck?
Right.
The beautiful landscape above St. Michael's in Easton?
Yeah.
Back in the 1800s, that was all, about 2/3 of it was owned by the Lloyd family. Very famous family in Maryland history books, probably richest family on the Eastern Shore, maybe richest family in the state.
Ooh.
They had a real penchant for the name Edward. Every patriarch was named Edward. So by the time we get to the 1840s, Edward VI is in charge of this is really vast area, like 9,000 acres on Miles River Neck. He also owns plantations in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Okay.
And that's where Matthew Roberts comes in. So in 1841, Matthew Roberts is born, enslaved to Edward VI. Historical record, go ahead.
In Talbot County?
In Talbot County.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Born on Miles River Neck,
Gotcha.
in Talbot County. The historical record is full of things that say this Edward VI Lloyd wasn't the nicest guy when it came to being a slave owner. So fast forward 22 years, I think it was 1863. Matthew Roberts is 22 years old. He gets in trouble. We don't know why. He knows he's going to be punished the next day and decides instead to run. He has no connections on the Underground Railroad. He's all on his own. Takes off. Plantation powers that be figure out he took off right away. They come after him on horse. He's a smart guy. He sticks to heavy brush areas and wooded areas with no trails where the horses can't get. Comes upon a creek, which of course here on the Eastern Shore means a river.
Right.
I don't know where people get these interesting ideas in the middle of like this life crisis where they're about to die and they come up with this really smart thing out of the blue. I don't know how they do that. He was wearing a hat. And instead of like crossing the creek or keeping on running, he threw his hat in the creek and then he hid in a bunch of grapevines. And the horses come up and they're very confused by the hat in the creek. They go, did he cross the creek and lose his hat? Did he drown in the creek?
Right.
Did he try to cross the creek but fail and lose his hat and come back on this side, and all of a sudden they don't have any idea where he is because of that hat, and they start looking around slowly. He takes the opportunity to run, and then God is on his side because he runs for this bridge over the Miles River, and he gets there just as a steamboat is coming, and he leaps off the bridge onto the steamboat. Now, I haven't seen that. There's no detailed report of how this happens. Maybe he jumped onto the steamboat and there were just like some black workers were there who like helped him out and put him in a hiding space, or so some sympathetic people. Next thing you know, he's in Baltimore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Relatively, so he's relatively safe there. He should be. It's relatively safe there. But safety's not Matthew Roberts' thing because he immediately joins the United States Colored Troops, 4th Regiment.
Okay.
Goes to war. Ends up, the 4th Regiment fought in Virginia, they fought in North Carolina. There was one terrible battle at a place called Chaffin's Farm. Matthew Roberts ends up on the field after that battle with a horrible leg injury and he cannot move. And once again, God is on his side. Because the Confederate soldiers who are coming through there to decide who to take away to prison camp and who to just leave, one of them is named Matthew Trejo. And he figures out that all these wounded soldiers are from Maryland. And then he figures out somehow that Matthew Roberts is from Miles River Neck. Louis Trail is from Easton. He really wants to get a message to his father. And so he helps Matthew Roberts back across Union lines, sends Matthew Roberts, he goes to one hospital, he goes to another hospital, eventually he's discharged, comes back, probably delivers that message to his father, and settles in Unionville. Do you remember Unionville, where all the U.S. colored troops, there's like 18 of them are buried at St. Stephen's Church there because the whole town was founded by U.S. colored troops, veterans in Talbot County. That's where Matthew Roberts is buried.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that amazing?
Why has the movie not been made of this?
That is true.
That is
true.
Absolutely. Thank
That's
you.
quite a story. Sure.
Jim Duffy, The Secrets of the Eastern Shore. Oh, we'll be thinking about that one for a little while.